Hello everyone, it's Vritzien, here to briefly talk about my thoughts on RWBY Ice Queendom. Very quickly though, I'd like to apologize for my lack of uploads recently. I'm currently in the process of moving, making me very busy as of late. Once I'm settled in, I'll be able to start uploading again more consistently. Anyways, for those who somehow missed the memo, which I'm not sure how you would considering RWBY was trending because of it for the first time in a while, the Team RWBY project that Rooster Teeth has been promoting for the last month or so was fully revealed at Anime Japan 2022, where its first trailer was premiered. The anime is being produced by Shaft Studios, known for their works on shows like Madoka Magica, and is set to release later this year. From what we've been shown, and what's been implied through marketing, this show looks like it's going to start from Volume 1, and then diverge at some unspecified point during the Beacon arc. Hell, the trailer is almost exclusively clips from Volume 1. I'm not exactly thrilled about the idea of going back to Beacon again, but the entirety of Volume 1 is like an hour long, so maybe Ice Queendom will speedrun through its plot beats in the first episode or two, and then diverge from there. I mean, Pierre's still alive, so perhaps the Battle of Beacon doesn't happen in this universe. Honestly though, I wasn't really super interested back when this project was first announced, and even after the full reveal, I'm still a bit apprehensive about it. Sure, the image they showed us was interesting, but the ambiguity of what the project was actually supposed to be is what turned me off of it. However, looking at the trailer now, I must admit it has piqued my interest. The animation looks good, the voice work seems solid, and what we see of the fight choreography looks fluid. The thing I'm most curious to see though is how and why it diverges from the events of Volume 1 into this new direction. Now we don't get much information in that regard, but the trailer does give us a few small hints. It shows a greater emphasis on Weiss's perspective throughout, which ends with the mirror being shattered and Weiss being shocked at seeing another version of herself. To be sure of that assessment and to make sure that I'm not missing anything important, I watched through the live stream and scrolled through the show's official website. The only significant details I could find are the new designs of Team RWBY and Juniper, as well as the soft confirmation from the panel that this is a second Weiss.
Well, if there was going to be two Weisses, things are going to be quite complicated. Just having one Weiss was really enough, I thought.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Before I go into my thoughts on that in detail though, let's talk about these new designs first. But as a side note, I found it interesting that the premise of Weiss encountering a different version of herself that's somehow connected to her mirror symbolism is exactly the same thing I went with my first RWBY related video on this channel. If you haven't seen that yet, you can check it out here. Obviously, it's not like I'm the first person to have ever come up with that idea, nor is that really an original idea in the first place, but I'm certainly going to be watching it with that in mind. In regards to the other designs though, I have mixed opinions. I'm certainly no expert on character design, so this won't be anything more than my gut reaction to them. So about Weiss, I absolutely love her design, specifically the lazy jacket that's hanging off her shoulders. While I can't exactly articulate why I think it works so well, one of the characters in my personal series has a similar aesthetic, and hey, they're both supposed to be military commanders, so I guess that works. For the rest of Team RWBY though, I think Ruby's design is the second best. It's certainly a bold change to her base design, especially with the inclusion of the snowboard, but if it doesn't transform into this Ruby's version of Crescent Rose, I'm going to be very disappointed. If Reese can do it, so can our weapons expert. For Yang, I don't have that much to say. Personally, this outfit seems like a downgrade from her original design. It just doesn't have the same feel to me. Lastly, for Blake, she feels kind of over-designed to me. It seems clear to me that the goal was to try to maintain her silhouette from her Volume 1 design, but this feels a bit excessive. However, the thing I find the most interesting about it are her gloves and tail. For the gloves, it's really hard to tell if those claws are part of the design of the glove or like actual faunus traits that Blake has. And for the tail though, it's certainly not a belt, like Kali and some other fan designs of Blake tend to have. Now, anyone who's been in this community long enough knows that lore is constantly shifting, so my first reaction to this design was, oh, I guess in this AU, faunus are just not limited to one animal trait. However, the trailer clearly shows that she doesn't, unless she just stuffs it in her shorts or something, I don't know. Let's put a pin in that though, as I have an idea as to why she might have it. Briefly going through Juniper, I think Red and Nora's designs are fine, if not kind of boring. John just has a hat and a scarf, which, again, extremely boring and lame. And Pyrrha, while interesting, is basically just Weiss's Volume 4 design, but red. I don't really know what else to say about it. The last thing I wanted to touch on is what I think the main plot of this AU is going to be. Clearly, Weiss is going to be a major focus here. She is the first character to be shown, the trailer heavily focuses on her, and the show's name directly alludes to her. In terms of what her role will be, it seems she's either going to be the main antagonist or perhaps some kind of anti-hero. Casually lounging on a throne before an army of robots and decked out in military command attire doesn't exactly scream good guy to me. However, keeping the idea of two Weisses in mind, who's to say that the Weiss shown in this trailer is the same Weiss shown in that poster? In the panel, they draw attention to the mysterious nature of the other Weiss in a tongue-in-cheek sort of way.
But I think the ending part, the last part, yes. Weiss. Didn't you see two Weisses? I thought there was two. Who is that? Yes, I'm a little confused. Yes, very mysterious.
And while Yoko Hikasa, Weiss's Japanese voice actress, suggests the ending of the trailer alludes to something in her heart,
But I think it showed something within the heart, and she tends to clash a lot with RWBY.
I'm not so sure. To me, the shattering of the screen before the two Weisses meet implies that the second Weiss is also real. But why do I think that? Well, looking back at Blake again, perhaps the reason why this version of Blake has a tail is because she's from an alternate universe of Remnant, like I had alluded to earlier, where not only can Faunus have more than one animal trait, but also one where Weiss is, well, the Ice Queen. Maybe Ice Queen Weiss swaps places with our Weiss and attempts to reestablish herself in this new universe. If I'm right about that, then the plot could revolve around our universe's protagonist trying to stop the Ice Queen Weiss, while our universe's Weiss tries to find her way back home with the help of the alternate universe versions of her friends. And if they really want to add some darker themes to it, like I hear Madoka Magica gets, perhaps Ice Queendom can take a page from Hans Christian Andersen's concept of the shadow. To tie that in with Yoko's comment about the heart, perhaps Ice Queen Weiss in her universe was born out of Weiss's desire to be team leader. Maybe she gets convinced to swap places with her by some magical means, forcing Weiss to watch the desires of her heart hurting her friends and trying to ruin her life. If you're unfamiliar with Andersen's Shadow, I'd highly recommend watching Tale Foundry's breakdown of it. Anyways, that's all I had to say about it for now. Let me know what you guys think of my thoughts here, and be sure to leave your own down in the comments below. If you like this video and want to see more from me in the future, be sure to like, subscribe, and consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you, and I will see you all next time.